I'm joined now from London by our correspondent Bénédicte Paviot. I don't know if I've got that right, Bénédicte. Tell us more about why these talks were downgraded. You know, what's been going on behind the scenes there?
Well, clearly a great deal. These talks, let's be clear, were supposed to be a continuation of the high-level talks that were held in Paris only last week. Of course, this coalition of the willing, as it's been called in this Ukraine, an attempt to find an end to the conflict and the invasion of Ukraine by Russia, is led very much by the United Kingdom, by France, so by Keir Starmer and by President Macron. But just a few hours ago, just before the talks were supposed to start, yes, this meeting was downgraded. So instead of having foreign ministers of whether it's the UK, France, the equivalent, the US and Ukraine, what has happened is it's going to be top senior officials, we understand. Oh, I think I missed out Germany, so I should include Germany in that. But the fact of the matter is that US President Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, and his Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, suddenly pulled out. They were expected in London this morning. I understand that David Lammy, the British Foreign Secretary, spoke to Marco Rubio last night in what the British Foreign Minister described as substantive and good, productive meeting. But the fact is, the fact that they were pulling out and instead were being replaced by another General Kellogg, that clearly showed that it wasn't the highest level. And that, of course, has not gone down well here at the Foreign Office and here in London. Now, the fact of the matter is that there have been really a lot of media reports here in the UK, in the Financial Times, for example, that Russia might be ready to halt its invasion along actually existing front lines and, in fact, give up territorial claims to areas it doesn't currently occupy, to quote the FT, and this would be in return for US recognition of Russian sovereignty over Crimea. But this was hotly denied immediately by President Volodymyr Zelensky, saying no such proposals had been shared with him, and he ruled out recognizing Crimea as Russian territory. So clearly a lot of talks behind the scenes and some disappointment here that it is not at the highest level, certainly between foreign ministers.
Yeah, hard to know what progress might be made without the participation of the Americans today. Keir Starmer spoke to Zelensky yesterday. Do we know what came out of that?
Yes, we got a readout. And the fact of the matter is that the British Prime Minister speaks to the Ukraine president regularly, as we know President Macron does. So there is continuing behind the scenes dialogue. Indeed, we could point out that the leaders will be, of course, meeting, and this is not unprecedented, at the funeral on Saturday in Rome. And sometimes talks can progress to that. It will be the top leaders who will be in Rome, whether it's President Macron, Keir Starmer, and of course, President Trump. So, you know, could there be some interesting behind the scenes talks there? But the fact of the matter is that Keir Starmer, according to a Downing Street spokesperson, spoke to President Zelensky yesterday afternoon. And apparently the British Prime Minister reiterated what he called his ironclad support for Ukraine. Keir Starmer, we're told, said that the UK supports Ukraine's calls for Russia to commit to a full ceasefire, and that now is the time for Putin to, quote, show he is serious about ending, and I'm still quoting, his brutal war. The Downing Street spokesperson said, quote, they discussed the latest developments on the coalition of the willing and looked forward to further progress towards a just and lasting peace. The harsh reality, Angela, is that there is absolutely no clarity about when or where or how there could be a full ceasefire, let alone a real end to the conflict. All of this as drone attacks from Russia, of course, still continue and people are killed and injured in Ukraine.
OK, well, thanks for that, Bénédicte. We're going to have to leave it there. Bénédicte Paviot, as usual, there speaking to us from London.